Ah, poor McMurphy's been turned down twice. Look at his happy little face. Right, romance. Do hold your hand still, Chungus. I can hardly see a thing with you shaking like that. I hold the binoculars stable in front of Floofybutt's tiny cat face. It looks ridiculous. It's like you're not even trying, Chungus. You're shaking like a leaf. My hands are totally steady, Major. Ever consider it could just be your eyesight? I'll have you know I have the keen eyes of a goat. Goats aren't exactly known for their vision, Major. That's just because the world is full of ignorami? Ignorami? Well, what can you see? I can only see a couple of mulers lazing about. Of course, scratching at their fleas. Filthy things, I tell you. What? One of the bigger ones is emptying his bladder. That could mean they do eat and drink on a regular schedule. And if we were able to find out where the water supply is, we could lace it with a mild sedative, bring the incapacitated sample to the beach, and... Please don't finish that sentence. No cats will be harmed during this mission. Oh please, the subject will not be harmed, just slightly bewildered for a day or two. Why, Major? Well, to examine it for a start. Also, I should like to see how they react when one of theirs goes missing for a change. Major, I only agreed to help you with this on the promise that you will not attempt to exact any kind of retribution on the elders. Examination is one thing, but if you can't keep your end of the deal, then I'm sorry, but I'm going to have to withdraw. Okay, I'll just observe. I place the binoculars in front of Floofybutt's keen goat eyes. Well, what do we have here? Find something? I do believe I have. There's a few elders here who seem to be meditating. Meditating? Are you sure they're not just sleeping? Take a look, will you? Tell me they aren't meditating. Ooh. Adjust the binoculars to suit my eyes. I'm quite taken aback by what I see. Floofybutt is right, the cats aren't sleeping. They're sitting in a circle around what is by far one of the stranger landmarks on the island. A large stat of bastets. Professor Purrfect has always dodged my questions about what on earth a statue of the Egyptian cat goddess of war is doing on the island. I'm even more intrigued now. The cats seem to be listening, or contemplating, or even meditating. Well, Major, I'm sure there's a perfectly good explanation for this behaviour. Cats often behave quite strangely, I found. Well, there's strange and there's strange. My experience teaches me that type of strangeness that this class are afflicted with is beyond acceptable. I believe the only way to protect us all is total disassociation. Major, do you hear yourself? We're here practically trespassing on their territory so that you can spy on them while they're doing whatever it is they're doing. And you want disassociation from them? One must know one's enemy, Chungus. How are they your enemy, Major? They've never done anything to you. Oh no, these Mooners are wholly responsible for the problem of this cursed island. About time they were held accountable. They are the carriers of the cat virus. If it weren't for them, you wouldn't be afflicted with the illness. Oh, is that so? Because I distinctly remember it was you lot that deliberately put me in danger in the first place. The elders are cats. Just cats. Just cats, eh? Oh, I see. Very nice what I just said. And although I didn't intend it the way the Major has taken it, you can see how wounded he is. I feel conflicted. On the one hand, I want to take a stand against his bigotry. It's not helping our progress, and I believe it may end up ruining our friendship. On the other hand, I know he's a good heart. As strictly says he's just stuck in his ways, and it would be wrong of me to start pushing my views onto him. Perhaps I can lead by example and practice a little more tolerance myself. We should be diplomatic. Oh, come on, Major. I didn't mean it that way. You know I have the highest regard for all cats, and particularly you. And I for you, Chungus. I like these little pictures are quite funny. These ones are scary. These ones are cute. Scary. Cute. Next. However, I must say, I find it increasingly difficult to fathom such an intelligent person as yourself fails to recognize such obvious truths. Yeah, perhaps I haven't given you a fair hearing. Maybe my own opinion has gotten in the way. Go on then. You have my full attention. Teach me, Major. Well, that's more like it. He pulls himself up and fluffs out his fur. Gives him an air of self-importance. So much so that, in spite of the promise to be open-minded, I'm already feeling a bit irritated. You see, what you and the other pedestrian-minded inhabitants of this island will not do is look at the undeniable evidence that this species is the cause of all of our problems. The evidence being, well, firstly, they have segregated themselves from us and created a ghetto where we have been made unwelcome. That is an act of hostility. I want to point out that we haven't created anything. They have always been there, but I'm practicing tact and diplomacy. Secondly, they carry the virus. Feline transitional gene. Quite. They are trying to infect everyone. Make us all like them, and they will have their way too if we don't fight back. Bite my tongue and resist, telling him that it's far more likely they are not trying to infect anyone, they simply want to live and let live. Probably don't even understand the effect their body fluids have on species. Thirdly, it should be obvious to everyone that I have made no attempts whatsoever to learn our language. If they were congenial towards us, they would surely have tried to communicate with us by now. Very indicative of a lot of subcultures of people at the moment. Tried to keep my voice amicable. You know how frustrating it is when you can't make yourself understood, Major? Very frustrating. I'm glad you see that, Tungus. At least I have one ally in all of this. Maybe now is the time to strike. You know what, Major? I'll bet that with your superior intellect and my research skills, we might be able to find a way to learn their language. I held my breath. Why on earth would we want to do that? To communicate? You lost your mind, Chungus. Say nothing of his sense of smell. Huh? I doubt they have anything worthwhile to communicate. They are no more to us than an insect under a microscope. Oh. They smell. However, that is rather overpowering. Shall we call it a day here, and go somewhere where the air is more pleasant for our lunch? Feeling very uncomfortable now, and I want to get away to think. Actually, Major, I have to get back. I'm on feeding duty today. If you like, I can put something by for you. Very well. I shall call by the mess tent later. As I make my way back to camp, I can't help feeling I ought to have handled this differently. Failure then. I wonder if honesty may have made more progress with Floof. Diplomacy just feels like pandering to him, really. Okay. Just go cat. Now more rest. Time for a trippy dream. You had a lovely nap, and wake up feeling revitalized. Your energy has been restored. Magic! No trippy dream? Nice. Romance. A floofy butt. We've been walking for ages, Major. Don't have much longer before they'll expect me back. Almost there. Needs to be as close to the danger zone as possible to deter snoopers. Few cats and even fewer humans come out this far, which ensures that my deposits are safe. Deposits? This is an act of trust, you understand. I believe that our recent disagreement and resulting reconsideration has made our bond of camaraderie stronger than ever. I would like to solidify our reunion with the sharing of something quite private and important to me. Maybe it was a failure. Feel slightly awkward and mumble incoherently in response. Yes, well, it's past, walking into the bridge and all that. I'm delighted, though, that you have reviewed and modified some of your stronger opinions, Major, updated your map, so to speak. Indeed, though, for the record, I'm still uneasy about the Muse. Elders, I grant that finding a way to speak with them might provide more insight than I had assumed. Well, we really are on the same page now, Major. We come to a halt. I can smell the pungent scent of elder cats. I've not been this close to them since the first night. It makes me uncomfortable. I feel surprisingly reassured to be with Fluffybutt. This is it. We must be completely silent now, so you'll have to cease that unattractive sound you're making. Out of breath, Major, I can't help it. What I'm about to show you, it's taken a long time and a lot of effort on my part. If anyone else should get wind of its whereabouts, or even its existence, It's okay, Major, I get it. I'll swear the most prestigious of pinky promises. I will not utter a word to anyone about what I see today. Fluffybutt seems satisfied and makes an effort to straighten himself out before motioning towards a large tree. Ahem! This, my dear, is my treasure. Oh my goodness, what a some tree you have there, Major. Very tall and proud looking. Congratulations. Oh, for goodness sakes, come over here. Fluffybutt leads me around the enormous tree to its hidden side. There's a large hollow in it that looks like it leads to a tunnel. Good God, man. Are you digging an escape route out there? What on earth are you twittering about? Use your eyes more and your mouth less, my dear. Notice then that hidden in the dark recess of the tree is the outline of a large object. My eyes won't allow me to see clearly. What is it, Major? Don't be shy, Chungus. Get in there and have a proper look. No choice but to crawl into the cavity for closer inspection. I run my fingers over the item and deduce it's made of old splintering wood. Has a cold metal adornments on either side. I use them to drag it out of the tree, and in half a light I am somewhat unsurprised to see it's an old-fashioned treasure chest. Would expect nothing less from the Major. Okay. Fluffybutt is looking at me expectantly. Well, open it, my dear. You needn't worry about the lock, it's quite broken. Do as instructed. Oh my giddy aunt, Major, how on earth? The chest is full to the brim with all sorts of shiny things. Jewelry, gems, coins, trinkets, ornaments, baubles, and all manner of curios. Fluffybutt lets out a low laugh. Allow me to regale you, human, with my vast adventures and conquests. Settle down and allow the Major's voice to wash over me. They play with some items of frippery from the chest. Ah, that coin you're holding. There's a very interesting story attached to that. Do you know how old it is, Chungus? I believe the date in it still be legible. I remember the night I found it. Gone for a walk on the beach. It was blustery and dark. I feel for the first time how exhausted I am. The walk has sapped me of all my energy. And as I fought the elements, I looked ahead and noticed the sky is much darker. I'm laying down, though I don't remember doing so. Valiant and victorious, to thunderous applause. I hear a low grumbling sound. Thunder? And a flashing behind my now closed eyes. Surely it's a storm. There's no rain. It's odd. Nowhere. It's warm, and dry, and hard to breathe. And I bellowed defiantly, "You cannot have them!" But the mules were already encircling. I should really get up now. No, it seems my eyes won't open. That's a pity. As I bit into the still beating heart, I do believe I'm paralyzed. This is a shame. I try to move my fingers. Nope, they're not listening to me. Tripping balls. Wake up! We have to get you out of here this instant. Up you get. That's it. Come on. As I come to, the world looks dark and distorted. I must be walking because trees are passing my line of vision. My hands hurt. I look down at them, and they're pressed firmly to the earth. One moving in front of the other. I must be crawling. I don't know how much time has passed, but I wake up on the sand. I inspect my blistering hands. Fluffybutt is sitting next to me, facing the sea. Oh, did I dream all that? Oh, you're awake. No, I'm afraid you weren't dreaming. What happened? My fault. I took you too close to the danger zone, and in your current state, you couldn't handle it. My current state? The feline transition is still in its early stages. It seems to be progressing particularly slowly in you. So I'm still very vulnerable to the effects of the Elder's territory. Quite, I was foolish. I didn't think. It was too interested in myself, my stories, my treasure. To protect you properly, please forgive me. We're not supposed to pan there, there'll be more truth. So, even though you knew it was a risk, you still brought me to the danger zone. I'm ashamed to say that it's true. But why? I thought we were friends. Indeed we are, Chungus. In fact, therein lies the answer. I value your friendship highly and I wanted to impress you. But you thought you'd do that by having me poleaxed? Interesting. I fear I've been rather foolish. Well, I'm not going to lie. I'll leave. He turns to go so quickly that I almost have to shout after him. Hang on a minute, you don't get away that easy. The forlorn-looking cat sinks back towards me. For future reference, I'm not so superficial as to be impressed by a few stories engaging that they were. Fluffybutt ears perk up a little. What impresses me about you is how you've been willing to change your old ideas, how much effort you've made to challenge some of your opinions. We've covered a lot of ground, you and I. You have my utmost respect. By now the Major has completely regained his composure, and is obviously gagging to chip in, so I let him speak. Do you really think so? Yes, you're becoming a very open-minded cat. Actually, I meant about my stories. I believe engaging was the word you used. He looked so pleased with himself that such a let him have it. Engaging is the word I meant. In fact, I'm going to lay down here in the sand for a moment and rest while you retell your tales to take my mind off the throbbing headache. Well, if you think it would help, far be it from me to deny my friends some comfort in their time of need. Settle down, Chungus. I shall begin. I curl up into a ball on the warm sand while Fluffybutt's voice washes over me. I drift off to sleep and dream of my cats. Well, weird. So, if we're following this right, it's like 3 dates. We can't see the actual stats. It's like the 3 dates are, because there's like 3 successful dates, like we had 2 out of 3 last time, which I think is what we got this time. The 4th one's getting the item to do the recon. And the 5th one's whether or not we accept them. Okay, romance. Okay, it seems a bit pointless having this screen since it's always going to be just the one. Maybe? I've rushed out to the forest on Fluffybutt's insistence that I meet him at the location of his treasure chest. After the incident, we called on McMurphy and Kibbles to help us track it to a new spot further away from the outer territory. Major, are you okay? I was in the middle of preparing lunch when I received your urgent summons. Quite. I was poring through my collection just now and couldn't help but reflect upon some of our adventures. Oh, so you dragged me away from the kitchen to reminisce? Indeed. I've grown rather fond of our expeditions together. I do seem to find more unique articles when you accompany me. Train me well, Major. Any advancement I've made in the treasure hunting field is entirely thanks to you. Yes, I mean, no, you have a natural ability, rather impressive. You flatter me, Major. Not at all. I'm a fair cat, and it is my belief that good work deserves just reward. Reward? Indeed, so I felt it would be only right to let you keep an item from my inventory, so that you may start a collection of your own. That's too kind of you, Major. I'm touched. Yes, well, let's have a look, shall we? And choose whatever you like, my dear. Absolutely anything. Peer into Fluffybutt's treasure chest. All the gems and bits of precious metal sparkle and glint in the sunlight. Gently move over them all. Bourgeois. More bourgeois trinkets. Out of the way and dig deep for the good stuff. Wow. I grasp a red gem almost the size of my fist. I wonder if it's a ruby. Before I can begin to examine it, Fluffybutt has swiped it away with his paw. No idea what that's doing in there. I think I see how this is going to go. Anything else, Chungus? Whatever you like. How about this? I untangle a string of pearl, creamy and iridescent. Clearly very good quality, even to my untrained eye. Fluffy looks uncomfortable. Yes, they are rather special, aren't they? I do have a particular fondness for them. I let him off the hook as my eye catches sight of something dull and cheap looking. Major, what on earth is this? Fluffy bottle sticks out like a sore thumb amongst the shiny baubles. Fluffy usually likes to collect. Oh, that heavens, I forgot about that thing. It might suit you. If you shake it, you'll hear something rattling about in there. I do believe it contains a note or a script of some kind. He's selling it to me. Silly, really. I didn't get it into my head to find a way to open that bottle, but the cork is wedged in tight. I chose this to start my collection, Major. Really, that old thing? But I can tell he's absolutely delighted. Yes, and I have an idea how to open it. Go on, you have my attention. I whip off my apron and loosely wrap it around the bottle and smash it unceremoniously against the side of a tree. Good gracious, Chungus, how lovely of you. I have a feeling the real treasure is this. Carefully pick the parchment from amongst the shards of glass. Cast a cursory eye over the fabled scribbles. Genuine message in a bottle. This could fill in so many blanks about the history of this place. A piece of paper? Oh, Major, it's not just a piece of paper. This is better than anything I could have hoped for. Well, that's what you deem to be treasure, then please be my guest. Thank you so much, Major. I grinned from ear to ear. I must go now, though. I'm late for lunch duty. I excitedly kissed Purrfect on his furry head before dashing back to base. Okay. Making fast progress. Yay! They're so happy. Recon 13, that's unlucky. Recon. Boom. Boom. The ink is surprisingly well preserved. The only obstacle to my understanding of this letter is deciphering the scrawling scribble. Some words I can make out: punished, God, and presumably the signature at the bottom of Bill. I can make out some other words, but they appear to be badly misspelled, or possibly not even English. Some other hybrid language, maybe colloquial. I spent an hour or two, that feels much longer, attempting to translate each character and syllable into my notepad. I obsessively write and rewrite words until the sentence takes shape, and I am eventually left with something quite legible. Once I am satisfied that each word is correct and each sentence has meaning, I read it through from beginning to end. To whoever finds this bottled message, we have been cursed. We be judged for our sins. We wrecked on the rocks. I couldn't tell you where we be, but I think it is hell. The cats, they're everywhere, and they won't forgive us. They know what we done. My guts burned for food. I had no choice. I had to eat. I regret it now. God help me, I do. Now I'm cursed and the boys are too. The cats are eating us slowly from the inside. It burns more than hunger. It burns me rotten. They stare at me all the time in their yellow eyes. They know what we've done. They're getting retribution. Justice. God help me, I pray for death. If you find yourself on the path of the infinite island, turn back. Don't do what we done. Leave them. This is their island. I need my little Lucy to know I love her. I'm sorry, Petal. Bill. Read it again. No, I don't. And again. Okay. But it seems the more I read it, the less it makes sense to me. Well, it seems like a bunch of pirates or naughty men were sailing around. They crashed on the island. They got hungry. They saw cats. Yum, 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 yum. But then whatever was in the cat's saliva, that's making us catified them. And the Muellers are now them, or the elders of them. But it seems the more I read it, the less it makes sense to me. Or maybe it's those 5 plus another one, because there's 6 portraits. I wonder if reading aloud might help me understand, like in school. We have been cursed. We be judged for our sins. We wrecked on the rocks. So the ship crashed and they survived. I'm not sure if they were very lucky or very unlucky. Cats won't forgive us. I had to eat. I had no choice. My skin prickles with goosebumps. Who knows what lengths anyone would go to in order to survive. I'm sure I'm capable of a lot more than I'd like to believe. Sat here in the comfort of my tent, but this, my stomach turns at the thought of it. I think I understand what Bill means. The next part is less clear and still more disturbing. They're eating us from the inside. Like food poisoning? The thought of that is bad enough. I've eaten a few dodgy prawns in my time. I shudder at the memory. I can't help thinking he means something else. Something worse. Surely the place Bill is talking about is here, the island, the Infinite Island. I've never heard of anyone refer to this place as the Infinite Island before. Most people call it Cat Island, or the Valorian Island, formerly. Perhaps this crew were the first humans to step foot on this place. How long have the cats been here anyway? The letter seems to be at least 100 years old, and the cats are pretty well established then, at the sound of things. Cats in the note must be elders. Suddenly feel another pang of sympathy for Bill and the crew. And how frightening the elders can be. I decided not to tell Flufferbutt about the contents of his gift. It would only add to his paranoia, and I instead promised myself that I would look into this further another time. As the plot gets more magical. The romance. Oh no, wait. Choose again. Rest. There are waves crashing. The sound is so loud I can't make myself be heard, but I still scream to the life raft. It's moving away from the sinking ship. I'm going down with the ship. I'm being thrashed against the sides of the old wooden vessel. This isn't right. The ship looks wrong. Hey, that's like a drawing of one of the people that made it. Cat's face looms up close to mine. Everything is wrong. All of it. Which cat are you? But the words come out of my mouth as mewling, and I realize I'm not myself. Some kind of beast. Suddenly I'm flying. I'm in the claws of some enormous bird. The beating wings are deafening. Down to see the ground approaching really fast. You can drop through the beak. Jesus. What does that mean? What break? What break? Breakfast. Rise and shine. I think it's the first time we've seen her. I mean, she's been referenced, but... Okay, a romance. This is a fluffy boat. We're getting it this time if we can. Taking a late stroll along the beach, walking off my dinner, I spot a familiar shape in the distance. Major? He begins slinking away, but I'm sure he must have heard me. Hey, wait! Purrfect stops, but makes no moves towards me. Oh, Chungus, I was just enjoying this lovely evening. It's dark and stormy. Is everything okay? Seems very distracted. Yes, it's all in good order. I've seen you for a while. A paranoid person might think you were being avoided. Well, it's a good thing that you're not paranoid then, isn't it? I suppose so. There's an awkward silence. Well, you must be getting on. Mice to catch, you know. There aren't any mice here, Major. Just a turn of phrase, Chungus, but I'm sure you have things to be getting on with. Actually, have some time if you care to stroll together. Ginger Tom shifts uncomfortably. Actually, I have other plans. Really? He's not forthcoming with the details. Just as I expect he's making up excuses, I hear a long yowling sound coming from the direction of the forest. And to my surprise, Purrfect lets out a similar call and his demeanour changes. Sorry, Chungus, I really must go. Oh, I see. Penny finally drops, and I realise he has a date with another cat. I feel rather embarrassed. Why, Major, I am pleased for you. Really? Of course. I must say I'm glad to have your blessing, Chungus. I believe you and I have become good chums over the time we spent together here. I rather think you would be my new companion. They are forward-thinking, and they always endeavour to challenge my lazy prejudices. I think you'll approve. I do, Major. Sounds like you found a real catch. And that's a slight feeling of regret rises in me. I tried to muster up a smile. Guess it failed. Thank you, Chungus. You're a good friend. His eyes are focused on where the sound came from, and I can tell he's itching to go. Have fun, Major. I'd rather think I will. And off he darts, moving fast as I've never seen him move before. He stands still for a moment, watching the places disappear too. I feel a wave of utter loneliness wash over me. So turn one down, and you didn't even get a chance to turn this one down. You suck at this. If you enjoyed this episode, then tickle the like button. Perhaps subscribe and check out the rest of the channel. And why not join us on Facebook, Twitter, Discord and Patreon. Links are in the description and running through the credits right now. I've been Landis. This has been Purrfect Date. Thank you very much. See you soon.